Yo, what is good YouTube? Maydubs here, back with another video, guys. We have some more breaking news, highlights, observations, and notes from another day here at New York Jets training camp. Now, this was the first day of padded practice. So in this video, I kind of want to go over a couple of guys who really stood out on day one of pads, and also a guy who maybe didn't look so good on the first day of pads. But with that being said, I do want to just say, take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt. Just because a guy has a good practice or a bad practice doesn't mean everything. He can still improve, still get better, and still, start to develop a little bit more as time goes on. So don't, if I say one guy has had a bad practice, don't say, oh, he's a bust or anything like that. Just, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Before we get into the video, though, I need you guys to do me a big favor and smash that like button really quick. I posted almost every single day. Actually, I think I posted every day of the Jets training camp period so far. I'm now also going to be covering the rest of the NFL. So if you guys want more training camp videos, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Join the family. Like I said, I'm going to be posting a ton of videos, including, signings, trades, training camp, preseason, regular season, everything that you can think of, I've got you guys covered. So join the family. But without any further ado, let's jump into today's video. Now, the number one guy who has absolutely been standing out so far is Garrett Wilson. And this is, not too much of a surprise. Last season he won Rookie of the Year, right? And he didn't really have any good quarterbacks. If we're being completely honest with ourselves, he was the best wide receiver, best rookie wide receiver, and he had some terrible quarterbacks. Now you give him a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, who seems to be his go-to guy. I mean, we'll see if it continues to develop that way, but right now, as I'm looking at it, I'm seeing a ton of great chemistry, a ton of, just Aaron Rodgers loves throwing in the ball because he's so reliable in terms of catching it. Now, he had a very impressive day on Tuesday. He had a pair of long completions from Aaron Rodgers, and he had a 35-yard touchdown down the right sideline, which was insane. But like I said, the chemistry between them continued to grow, and it's only been a few weeks here. So I can only imagine what that chemistry or how they are, week 8 on. I mean, I feel like it could be one of those legendary duos. We also heard that Aaron Rodgers plans on playing more than one season in New York, so that is huge alone in itself as well. Now, another guy who's been looking really good is, Aaron Rodgers himself. He has been looking really good. He brought over a lot of guys over to the system in terms of Allen Lazard, Mecole Hardman coming over from Kansas City, coming off a Super Bowl win. You also got Randall Cobb, who is on the PUP list right now, but he's looked good. And then Jason Brownlee, a guy you guys need to keep your eye on out for. He's an undrafted free agent wide receiver, and he's been lighting up camp from the very beginning. So that's another guy I want you guys to, make sure you keep an eye on. Now, we saw a little bit of Breece Hall. Breece Hall, listen, he's not, in pads. He's not full strength right now, but he is getting into the rhythm, getting into the flow of things, and I do expect him primarily to be back for week 1. I don't think they're going to risk playing him in all the preseason, but you never really know. I do think that Breece Hall will be ready to go at some point over the first few weeks of the season, which is a very good sign. I think he might even be ready to go in a couple of weeks from now, but we'll see what changes in that aspect. Another guy who has actually been looking pretty bad, and now this is the guy I want you guys to, take it with a grain of salt. It's okay, but Mekhi Becton has not looked so good in the first practice. His pitch count or whatever it is, the amount of reps he was taking was definitely lower than it usually would be, but that's just because they're trying to ramp him back up. They're trying to get him back going, but he was beaten bad by a couple of guys, including Will McDonald, you got Carl Lawson, and Zaire Barnes, and he was, being bad by some of these guys off the edge. So they want to, work him in exclusively and get him more reps and get him going a little bit more. Right now, he is a little bit slow to the start, but that's probably the reason why we've seen, Billy Turner take a lot of the snaps at tackle, and then you got Elijah Vera Tucker and Joe Tippmann, Lakin Tomlinson, Max Mitchell. That's probably Connor McGovern as well, but getting a lot of reps. So that's probably why we're seeing a little bit more of those and a little bit less of Mekhi Becton. They just want to make sure that he's getting up to speed and he's continuing to develop over the next couple of days. He's rusty, so hey, take it with a grain of salt. I think he'll be fine at the end of the day. But these next couple of practices will probably be the most important to see. If he, I don't want to say if he starts or not, because you're probably going to be the starter But if he doesn't get any better from here, then I would not be surprised at all if you saw Dwayne Brown and Billy Turner, or Dwayne Brown and Max Mitchell, whenever Dwayne Brown's healthy, as your starting tackles on this team. But like I said, I think Mekhi Becton will be okay. Now, there's been 2 or maybe even 3 other really big standouts so far, and we just brought up 2 of them because they've been getting off the edge very well, and that is Carl Lawson and Will McDonald. They have been insanely good so far. Like I said, they were getting off the edge very good against, or very well against Mekhi Becton. So we'll see if they can continue to do that over the next couple of days. But I do know that I've seen a lot about Carl Lawson just getting to the quarterback and making a big impact, while Will McDonald for the first time in padded practice was looking really good as well. So those 2 guys are looking good, and that is just excellent news for the edge rushers here in New York. And the last guy I want to talk about, and I apologize because I might not say his name correctly, and you guys can correct me in the comment section down below, but Israel Abanikanda, the running back, he's been looking really good. Now, when you look at the depth chart for New York right now, you got Breece Hall. Expect him to be good to go for the start of the season. Michael Carter had a tough year last year, but I think he's ready to go this year. And then Israel. He looks to be the number 3 running back on this roster, or at least he's fighting for that job. And I think from what we've seen so far, I think they love him over here in New York. I think Robert Saleh is extremely intrigued by what he brings as a running back, and I do think that his explosiveness can even maybe help him win an RB2 job on this team going forward. So yeah, don't be surprised if he actually pushes Carter, or even Donovan Knight, or even Carter to be the RB2 on this team. But let me know what you guys think so far. That was all we've seen from day 1 of padded practice. We should have more days coming up here shortly. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, turn on post notifications, and don't worry guys, I'm going to be covering almost every single team. And also make sure you guys stick around for the Underdog Fantasy. If you guys want to play some fantasy drafts with me all season long, make sure you guys check out this little segment that I'm about to play now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Today's video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.